Nation.
I was waiting on our arcade. You
Squad.
I was like, hey, somebody's missing.
Lock in, Unk.
Yeah, lock in.
Yeah. Lock the TF in.
Exactly. Welcome in to DNVR Buffs, the pregame show, actually. The DNVR Pregame Show.
Yeah.
Because my guy, Uncle Neely, is here. Scotty Pockets is here. Good morning, gentlemen.
Man, morning, bro. How you making on this happy birthday to Jake? Today is literally his birthday. He is up doing the show.
Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you. Thank y'all. I'm feeling great. I'm actually feeling a lot better than I did yesterday. So I already got my wish.
I love to hear that, man. So we popping out tonight then, right?
Oh, yeah, totally, bro. We're just going out there and we're going to just create some havoc. Yeah.
Oh, guys. I'll be right.
No.
I love it. I love it.
I'm watching CFP all day. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Maybe a little Curse Light. Maybe. We'll get into the CFP, what happened yesterday. Scotty talked to one of the newest buffs. But we start today, boys. Bowl game wish list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Go ahead, up.
No, I was going to say the first wish already got granted. We have a bowl game. That's something like 9 months ago, that a lot of the world still thought we wouldn't have, and here we are, 1 week away from it.
That's facts. Okay. It's kind of anything. Whether you want a player to do something specific, the team to do something specific, something that just happened in San Antonio, I guess. Who wants to start? I can start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go to my guy, Jimmy Horn. It's been a minute, man. It's been a rough year for him. It hasn't really shaped out, the way that anyone wanted to this year for Jimmy Horn. Obviously, just the injury. And then, really, after the North Dakota State game, we just haven't seen a big Jimmy game. So give me just a big Jimmy game. In specifics, let's say 5 receptions, 100-plus yards, at least 1 touchdown.
I love that. I love that. I hope Jimmy gets that. I hope you get that for your birthday as well next week. Jimmy is overdue. He's been out with nursing the injury this week at practice. He's looking like 110% Jimmy. And I do believe, that even though BYU is watching us right now, I will still say this. I do believe there's even going to be some forced momentum to get Jimmy going. But the issue for BYU is they don't have anybody on their side that can stop it anyway. So I'm like you, Jake. Not only do I want it, I believe it's going to happen.
Me too. I think they're going to make it a point to get him involved, as they should, man, because it seems like so long ago that week 1 explosion from Jimmy Horn was. But that was some special stuff that we saw to him. And I would love for him to get that last opportunity before he heads to the league to remind people who he really is on the football field. But for mine, I wanted to see something that we haven't yet seen from the Heisman Trophy winner, which is a pick 6. Buff Nation need that. The college football world need that because I feel like Travis has come close a couple times here. Jake Retzloff, BYU's quarterback, has thrown 3 picks in his last 3 games. He will give this defense an opportunity. And again, that celebration when he go back to the crib, when he cribs that interception is going to be lit, and it's going to be penalties ensuing after that celebration for sure. But it's going to be completely worth it. I need to see that pick 6 from Trav, and I feel like it's a good chance of that happening for sure.
Yeah, I love them as well. In fact, man, on my mama, on my hood, both of y'all have said the 2 that were on top of my list. Y'all got 1 and 2. Like my Jimmy big game and Travis pick 6 were my 1 and 2 in this thing. And so let me go to my 3, which is now my 1. I want Shiloh Sanders to get a pick 6. I think the emotional game, for all this to work, we're just kind of a given Shador needs to when we want him to have a big game. So that's kind of like a given in this. But with the emotional impact of this being the last game, which Coach Prime coaching his sons, arguably, for it to be in Texas where they all started being coached and playing together. Shiloh either having a pick 6 or a big hit that causes a fumble and a scoop and score, something like that, I think, just sends the dad in Coach Prime over the top. So I love that moment.
That'd be lit. You know what else would be lit that I just thought about the whole time?
Go ahead.
100-yard rusher would be lit. And again, we talk about this because really all it takes is one real chunk game. And obviously a couple, you know, kind of staying committed to it a little bit if you get a lead. But I feel like 100-yard rusher would be absolutely lit, especially, you know, if it came from Isaiah Augusta or even the young bull, Michael Welch, who seemingly, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we should be healthy heading into this bowl game a little bit with some time off. So that would be absolutely lit because we know Shador and the receivers are going to do their thing. But if we get 100-yard rusher on top of that, which I believe would be the first one in the Coach Prime area here at Colorado, that would be some elite stuff right there.
That would be, man. To tell you how easy it is, just look at that Notre Dame Indiana game last night. You got 98 yards on one run play.
Precisely.
So, you know, these backs that we have, particular Isaiah and Micah, are really capable of breaking one for 30, 40 yards, you know, on one play. It could happen. I think that would be a huge feather in the cap going forward to next year because, you know, you got a younger quarterback coming in. As talented as Juju is, as talented as any of the backup QBs may be, we're going to need a run game more than ever next year, more than we've needed it in the past 2 seasons. And, you know, how you end is how you start. And, you know, we've all skipped over wishing for a win because I think, again, like Shador having a big game, that's just a given. We all want to win it. Right. But that just would set the tone for going forward if we had a back that got over 100 yards. I love that one, Scotty Deep Pockets. Yeah,
and it's important because Coach Prime has talked about this, I think, recently. He was like, that stuff can carry over into the next season, whether you perform terribly or you handle your business in the bowl game. That could definitely bleed into next season. We saw it with Oklahoma State where they were in the Big 12 championship game last year against Texas, returned the most production in all of college football. Then they're 85+% of their production from last year. And they went on not to win a single game in the Big 12 this year. Like that, I believe, certainly stemmed from the fact that they were damn near embarrassed in their Big 12 title game. And that stuff matters.
Florida State and the ACC as well. Like it all started. If you go back and look at, well, damn, where did we take the wrong turn at Albuquerque? It's just that bowl game is where it started, you know, and they've just been off track ever since.
Hell yeah.
What you got, Jake?
I'm going to go to the uniform side of things. We've been seeing it in some of the like recruiting visit photos and stuff that's been coming out. Give me gold, black, man. With the gold numbers on the black jerseys, the shiny gold helmets, the black pads. It's one of the most, I think, intimidating looks that CU has. It's a classic look, and I just love to see it in the new shine with all the Coach Prime stuff. So give me gold, black. It's a mood, and it's I don't know. It's like wearing your black Air Force Ones. You know, you're coming here to put business down on someone. So that's what I want to see.
Black Air Force Ones with a single Newport behind your ear.
Yeah.
That means somebody's getting their ass kicked today.
Somebody up to no good. Jake, you want the Black Force energy. That's hilarious.
Absolutely. We got to end on a high note, bro.
True.
I mean, I stopped. This is obvious, but BTA, right? Like one more BTA performance from this team. That's kind of what I'm getting at because those games are just a different level of fun. And we know that this team has the talent to, you know, put a ton of points on teams like BYU. And we've just been wanting to see this matchup all year, you know, ever since BYU is sitting at the top of the Big 12 earlier in the season. So,
well, when you talk about that BTA, I think that BTA starts with not only stopping the run, but also getting to the quarterback. And that brings me to my second wish on the bowl game wish list. And I'll put 2 guys together for this. I want to see the block bully as well as BJ Green get about 2 sacks apiece. I would love to see them, you know, justify the invites that they've been getting to the postseason, observation bowls, if you want to call them, you know, as you're going into the combines and the pro days, and then they're about to draft. I would love to see BJ Green and Chidoze, who's playing just 3 hours from Houston. So you can expect a big Houston crowd there. We'd love to see those 2 get off on the way out.
Love it.
I was just going back to that BTA thing you talked about, what that would start with. But what BTA ends with is what I really need in that video. That's the video of RK up in the stands with that belt. That belt in hand. I need that video like I need air next weekend. no lie. But I love all of those. Let me just add one more to just made me think about video that surfaced yesterday of our guy, the young coach, Corey Phillips, director of player personnel. I believe it was on either Well Off or Reach the People, but he was in the camera with Colton Hood. He said, hey, I'm calling it right now. Future Thorpe winner right here. And I would love to see Colton Hood or DJ McKinney, one of the guys who are expected to take that kind of leap up to, cornerback one with Travis leaving and whatnot. I would love to see one of those guys make a splash play, whether that's an interception, a big hit on the football to force a fumble. And obviously we know what can happen if Colton Hood gets the ball in his hands. Something explosive is typically about to happen. But I would love to see one of those guys, Colton Hood in particular, to kind of put their stamp on this game, as a sign that I'm him coming next season. You're gonna have to worry and know about me for sure. That'd be dope.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Birthday boy.
All right, I'll go again. With Nakai being in the portal and not playing, give me either, Jay West or Gant, whoever it is filling in at linebacker, to just have a solid game. Yeah. Specifically, if it's Jay West, again, that's just a momentum thing going into this next season. They already got one new linebacker. I wouldn't be surprised if they go get a handful more. You got Mantrez Walker coming in too. But if Jay West has a big game, I think that's just very encouraging for this linebacking core moving forward. You end on a high note. It's another contributor at that position for the season. But it's another guy next year that you can kind of look at and say he's going to have a big season.
I think people are sleeping on Jalen Wester. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I like that, Jake and Scotty, what you were wishing for, Jake and Scotty, on the sleeping on. And I can tell you that, in those team meetings when Coach Hart gets up and gives the linebacker grades, like there's a lot of mentioning of Jay Wester and his not only actual talent, but the potential. Just as a younger player has to nail some things down. And what a wonderful opportunity this bowl game will be for him experience-wise while the lights are bright to really, step into some of the things he's been coached up on and put them in the action. And frankly, with that depletion there going into this game, as far as what we've been able to enjoy the past couple of weeks or this entire season, we need him or Gann or somebody to step up. Like for all these things we're talking about to come true, the linebacker play, we can't get Travis a pick six, Scotty, if the linebackers aren't playing well.
Facts.
They're just going to be running the ball instead of throwing the ball, So some of these things are just so intertwined that I think you're spot on, Jake. We got to have great linebacker play.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go emotion again. Mm-hmm. Fanfare of a bowl game. I wish for so much BTA that somewhere in mid fourth quarter, on offense and defense respectively, all the guys that are leaving get pulled from the game and get some kind of ovation from the crowd, and the newer guys get to go in and get to kind of prelim what we can have next year. But that emotional moment of not having to have whether it's Shadur on offense or Shane Cokes on defense, to not have to have a guy out there, mid to late fourth quarter, where we can bring them off the field, and make a point of emphasis about, hey, clap for them. I would love to see that happen, but that doesn't happen without BTA.
Yeah,
actually,
I think that's the best one so far. That would be dream scenario, because that means that you handled your business 3-4 quarters prior. And that means all those guys. A Travis standing ovation or Shador with Coach Prime embracing them coming off the field. That would be a dream moment for sure. I would love to see that.
I appreciate the shout out on that being the best one, but I love what you just sparked something in my mind. Travis gets two. He gets to come off the field as a receiver, and he gets to come off as a cornerback.
Oh man, let's go.
Facts. I would just add one more because our boy Mata, man. Our boy Mata was being talked about, man, early in the season. And he just internalized it and bounced back, tied a Colorado record for 10 straight made field goals this season in this regular season finale. I think one more made field goal would obviously have him alone at that CU record. I would love to see him knock one through the uprights again and kind of have that moment to be talked about as one of the most consistent players on the team here this season. He deserves that.
Yeah. And excellent one. And as much as I want the same for Mate, I'm with Coach Prime. Let's let him get an extra point in, because hopefully we can be like Kansas and not damn punt at all.
Yes.
We're just running it up.
Actually, that just made me think about too. Last week at the Heisman, I believe it was the day before the Heisman when Travis was talking to us, and he was asked about kicking and whatnot. And he said, I don't know if at practice Travis has actually been trying to do this, but he said he was going to try to do it in practice. So Coach Prime can see it in practice and maybe put it out there or in the game to kick extra point or something. That'd be dope as well.
Well, I have not seen him do it this week in practice, but there have been numerous times in practices, whether it was at Jackson State or here, Travis absolutely can kick the ball. And not only can he kick the ball, he can stand at the 50-yard line and throw the ball out the back of the end zone.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, I'll do one more then. And it's kind of around Travis, but it's something we saw last year in the last game against Utah. Give me like an awesome, successful trick play. I don't care what it is. If Travis like throws a touchdown pass, do you know how incredible that would be? So give me something like that. I don't know what it is. Flea flicker, reverse pass, halfback pass. I don't care what it is, but it'd be just lit to see a trick play, specifically with Travis. Just go crazy. Maybe a house call. So.
Yeah, well, there's one in the playbook. We tried it in the past. Was supposed to go to Shador for the touchdown, but I forgot what game it was. But they gobbled it up, and Travis had to scramble around and just make something happen. So
I think it was Utah.
And no better time than a bowl game with BTA happening, But the key is BTA.
It's facts. That's where it all kind of stems from. We'll see what happens. A week left, boys. This time next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna be celebrating. We'll all be in San Antonio together, and it's perfectly between Christmas and New Year's. So we're going out with a bang. But it's also gonna be sad, man, because there's no more damn football to the spring game.
I know.
And you know how we get that January through March stretch, like we just start counting down the days. So this is it. But it could have been worse because the last game could have been Oklahoma State, but we actually have one more ball game, man.
Soak it up, man.
And I believe this team is going to be so much better next year that we're going to be playing in January, not just in December.
God, I hope so. We'll get into the playoff in the final segment, but I know it was a blowout last night, but just like the vibe, the aura of that game last night, specifically when it kicked off, just the on-campus stuff, just knowing how much this game meant, like that was super cool, man. And if we ever get a home playoff game in Folsom Field, the vibes are just going to be off the charts.
Yeah, dudes, I think, man, we all love ball and love college ball specifically, but the two things that I think were absolutely gotten right in this was expanding to 12, which I know will eventually go to 14 or 16, but expanding to 12 and making those first round games be on campus. I think that as we look back, get 20 years down the road and look back on history, that decision was going to be one of those things that's like the forward pass. It just changed the game because the ability to not only have a playoff in college, but to host it on your campus is such a big reward, a carrot on the stick as you're going through the season, to secure that and to see that atmosphere. And I can't wait to see it. Like RK was saying on the live show yesterday, we're going to get to see this at other venues and the difference, but yet what they all have in common, which is that love of the game. So, and this is, I'll wait till we get to it on the segment, but I'm also do it here now. I told you so. I'll do it deeper later.
Let me play contrarian a little bit with this college football playoff thing first.
Do it. I love it.
Because, and I saw some people talk about this, like, was last night's game really necessary in terms of determining a national champion? I don't think so.
No.
And it's like, why is it being lumped in as a playoff game then? Like, neither of those teams are national champion contenders.
Well, let me tell you why.
And why it's a money grab. Like, let's be for real about what this college football playoff is and extending it to 12 teams. That's really what this is about. This was never about trying to find a real, true, the best champion, because neither of those teams are it. And all we just watched was a glorified bowl game. That's really all that was last night. And it wasn't even competitive, which made it even worse. So I don't know. I hope and think there will be some good playoff games this weekend, but last night wasn't it, and I wasn't super impressed. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, so we're gonna how we say you can't pick Shador and Travis. We're gonna go to the given. We're gonna give a given in this. The given is this is all about money. This is all about TV revenue. We're going to agree with that.
Right.
But here's why I love it. And as salient as your points are, I love what you said, Scotty. I can't even counter it. I'm just adding this in. Now you got to shut up. Because in the past, when people were left out, they sit there and say stuff like, well, if we would have been in, all right, now your ass is in. You see what happens.
Now we know that Indiana didn't play nobody all year.
But and then here's why it also matters on the back end of that. I shut you up on the front end, and here's what's going to eventually happen in the next 4 to 12 years. You're going to have a Cinderella story. It's just like the
hope so.
the March Madness.
Yeah.
The hope for a 1 beating a 16 is where the magic is. Now you could easily say, "Man, why are we playing this damn game?" Like we know what Georgetown is going to do to Mississippi Valley. But the year that Mississippi Valley had the lead on Duke and almost won the game, it's like we got to do this. If we're going to have a tournament /playoff shut the people up who would have been left out in the past, you're going to have bad games like you had last night. That's a given. But one day you're going to be like, "Damn, man, they did it. They did it."
Enough.
Yeah. So I love the shut up factor more than anything for me, though.
True, same. Because especially when Cignetti was talking big mess before the game, and then to go out there and do his
save it,
just crazy.
Save it.
I missed that. Can't wait to get in it.
Save it. Let's take our first break, and then we'll get into Scotty's conversation with Zach Atkins, new tight end here at Colorado. Shout out to the homies over at Toyota. Man, I love my Toyota.
I love Arcade's Toyota, man.
Is what I would say if I owned a Toyota. But I have the pleasure of riding in Arcade's luxurious, smooth, excellent Toyota. They've got all kinds of stuff out there. They have 17 models available with all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner. The Tundra as well. The new one looks crazy. They got sports cars, hybrids. I mean, whatever you want. Whatever your mood is, Toyota can fit that and get you to where you need to go. Also, some of the most dependable cars out there on the road. It's really what their name was built on, is their dependability, reliability, and just getting you where you need to go at all times. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Also, shout out to the homies over at Sleeper. It's fantasy football playoff time.
Yeah.
And if you're not on Sleeper, you're just playing fantasy football wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. It's the deepest, most customizable fantasy football app out there. Even if you're on another platform right now and you've been thinking about it, you've seen your friends play on Sleeper and you go, man, that does look cool. I kind of want to switch over there. Well, you can easily do that and import all your league history, stats, all that cool stuff. So, what we build our fantasy leagues on, it's about the people we play with, right? Bragging rights.
Yep.
You can bring that over to you with Sleeper. Also check out Sleeper Picks. If you're in one of the 25 operational states, download the app, use the promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details, but check out Sleeper today. The homies.
Squad.
When you talked about that camaraderie of your fantasy league, good old Unc, your favorite auntie's favorite uncle, got invited to be a part of the Specialist Fantasy League. And the whole theory, I'm in 3 leagues, right? And so this was my first year in this one with these guys. So it's the one I cared the least about. I got to focus on the ones with the history.
Yeah, back home.
But I must also say I tried. Now I was putting forth my effort because I wanted to win. But man, I had the worst damn season in fantasy football history. The injury bug got me. When the quarterback goes down, and not that you have that quarterback, but you have his receivers. So like that whole time the two have missed and nobody and Waddle and Tyreek were just not. I was like, dude, this just sucks.
Yeah.
But the whole goal internally was no one could lose to Dempsey. Dempsey knows nothing about fantasy football. He picked his players based on the colors of the team.
No way.
So like when it was his pick, and he likes orange and pewter. He picked like the kicker from Tampa Bay, like with his number one pick. And stuff.
Hey, that's crazy because we met the governor's sister this weekend in New York, and she is like a real like football fan. Like she really knows ball. Like Camden should have just had her draft his team for him, and they probably would have been much better. I ain't gonna lie.
Like I'm happy to report that he is in dead last place, but I'm sad to report that I'm only like about 3 spots ahead of him. You know.
Hey, who top dog in there? Because I remember.
I was about to say, let me see. I'm gonna pull it up. Great question there.
I remember Mata talking about it on one of the pregame shows earlier this season.
Yeah, me and Mata had a nice battle. I mean, I'm talking about like a 1 point differential in win-loss.
Wow.
All right, so let's go to the list here. Show y'all who's league standings.
What's the name of the league?
All right, so you got Daniel, whose name of his team is Half Chub. All right, so y'all think it just be on with the BS. Like,
oh Lord, here we go.
Daniel and Hawkins are both at the top, and they're 10-4. Palazzo and Stojanovic are 95-8-6. Mate, who was kicking ass, Mate might have been 7-0 at one point, and now he's finishing 7-7. Wow. And then the rest of us, Mata, Gabe, me, Touch My Little Feely, which is Jake Feely and Dempsey. We're all like 6-8, down to Dempsey being 4-10.
Wow!
And his 4 wins were so damn flukish. Like it was, the dude knows nothing about fantasy football, man.
Well, I hope you guys are playing on Sleeper at least.
No, I lost volume.
You know I'm playing on Sleeper.
I know you are, Scotty.
Yeah.
I can't hear them. Something went wrong.
Oh no! I was playing around.
Well, Unk's gonna figure it out. He'll be back. Scotty.
1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear us?
I can't hear y'all. Oh, I see what it is. I got it. My bad.
Hello?
Back? You back?
All right. While he's figuring that out, Scotty, you spoke to Zach Atkins. My guy's been cooking, by the way. Go sign up to become a diehard, TheDNVR.com. Guys talked to Carter Miller, Carter Smith, Zach Atkins recently, and I'm sure there's many, many more to come. But what was your big takeaway? I mean, the quote you posted yesterday on the Buffs account, I mean, how does that not get you fired up? And he's absolutely right. They are the most hated team in college football. And there is like when you join a team like that, man, it just fires you up. And just seeing him say that fired me up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, people who didn't already see that, go check that story out on TheDNVR.com. Make sure you become a diehard. But yeah, Jake, that quote, if you guys haven't seen it, let me just pull it up here quick. He goes, Zach Atkins, again, new Colorado Buffaloes transfer commit. He goes, they're the most hated team in college football, and I love that. I want to be a part of that. I feed off of that, and I know people in the locker room feed off of that. That's a privilege. And when he said that, I'm like, bro, you going to fit right into this damn locker room, bro. That's exactly the type of mentality that group has, and that's going to fit right in. And this guy is what the transfer portal was made of. Spent the last 3 seasons at Division II Northwest Missouri State. Redshirted his freshman year, got some action, some good action the last 2 seasons. 6'4", 240-pound tight end. Really has the skill set that this team has been missing at that tight end spot. And he talked to me about it. He called himself a true weapon at the tight end position. He says, I'm a versatile guy. I can flex in. I can flex out. I take a lot of pride in my route running. This is a former high school receiver. So he has the route running chops, the pass catching chops, and he can also put his hand in the dirt and obviously move guys, off the point of attack at the line of scrimmage as well. So this is a guy, again, very highly sought after when he entered the transfer portal. Offers from LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Illinois, North Carolina, South Carolina. He chose the Buffs, though, really just because of the opportunity, in the tight end room. And this is another quote that stood out to me. He goes, obviously they're losing Travis and some playmakers, and they're going to have to be a more balanced team. They're going to have to run the ball more and use more 11 personnel. I just felt like it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. And again, I was on the point where I'm like, damn, this boy gets it. He knows his offense is going to be putting the ball in there 40 times a game like it did, this year with all those talented receivers. Are going to be more 11, 12 personnel with 1-2 tight ends on the field. And he, to me, seems like the perfect guy to fill that role. Again, whether it's a run or a pass situation, he can get the job done. He has the size. He has the experience. So it was a fun interview. It was dope getting to know him. Go check that out on the DNVR.com. But I'm excited for Zach Atkins in this offense in 2025.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, shout out to you. You're a damn good writer. I enjoy reading your stuff. You really get immersed in that. Very talented. Then I want to say that this pickup in the portal, if you will, really speaks to what Coach Prime has been saying about how you have to fit. It's not just your talent. Clearly, the guy meets all the tight end metrics just on paper. But when you said what he said about wanting and thriving in a situation of being hated, shows that he just fits. And I'm sure there are other tight ends out there with similar or maybe even better metrics, but they just don't fit. We used to ask Coach Prime, you guys, during the pressers post game, like, what is it about this team on the road versus home? And it's what you're just saying there. They rather take away somebody booing them than hear somebody cheering for them. Like, they get up and creating silence on the road more than they get up for hearing cheers, at Folsom. And just that mentality of, I'd rather go in your place and take your heart. It just shows the moxie of this team. So I think he's going to fit in very well, man. And he's exactly right. You're exactly right, Scott. Keep in mind, if we just go off what we know now, reading tea leaves, you got a true freshman starter. The run game and the tight end being more than just pass protection, being another weapon. Again, out of, like they're saying, out of the 11 personnel, meaning one tight end, one running back in the game, it's going to be more needed this year going forward than the past 2 years on the Shador. Because if we had a tight end in the game with Shador, they were blocking. And you got to remember now, the tight end success in the first year was actually a small receiver that moved to tight end. So we really didn't have a tight end. And so now I think this is going to be a tight end ball game, a ball club. I think it's going to be a ball club that has a strong run game as Juju grows in the system and matures in it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love that. When you have guys like Travis and Shador on your football team, that creates, a bigger margin of error for you, right? In almost everything, in terms of the play-to-play stuff that happens on the field, in terms of play calling, but also in terms of team building. And you've seen that the last 2 years. Tight end hasn't really been a big point of emphasis. They've kind of gotten by just, converting positions, Mikey Harrison, Savell Smalls. Now you get a true tight end in there now, someone who, can do multiple things, doesn't tip the scales saying, we're passing here, we're running here. True versatile tight end, it changes everything. And, I do think Juju can kind of get to that Shador level eventually and just be, phenomenal, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It's going to take time, though, and it's going to take guys like Zach Atkins, that traditional tight end safety blanket. You're going to need that this next year. You're going to need a running game. So the fact that these guys are seeing that and they're wanting to come to Colorado just like they have the last 2 years, it's such a privilege that Coach Prime has, where like the needs on his football team almost kind of speak for themselves, and guys see those needs and they recognize it and they go, I can go help win there right now.
100%. And I love how many receptions, catches do y'all think Colorado tight ends had this year in 2024?
Two tops.
7?
Close. Add those two numbers up. There's the answer. 9 catches for 65 yards from the tight end.
And that was the play broke down or something. That was
exactly. And that was a great point too, Jake, that you mentioned. Like when Savell Smalls, for example, was on the field this year for Colorado, more times than not, defense were able to say, this is probably going to be a run. Yeah, it's probably going to be a run. And again, when you have a guy like Zach Atkins who is just as good getting out in the route as he is blocking, that makes you a lot less predictable as an offense. So that makes Pat Shurmur's job, that quarterback, whoever's under center for the Boston 2025 job, a lot easier when you have that, unpredictability in your play calling because of your personnel. And again, I love your point too, Neely, just about him embracing being hated, because it's one of my favorite quotes from Coach when he was asked one of those questions this year about, the team playing better on the road. He goes, we love to be booed and naysayed. It turns us on. And first off, that's just hilarious, but it's just true as well. Like that team was different on the road this year. And I think it is because of that reason that you pointed out, Unc. Like they would rather take away somebody's happiness then have, their home crowd be happy and cheering and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, you bring in more guys who feel that same type of way, have that same type of mentality. Bring as many of those guys in as you can, for sure. Zach Atkins.
I love nerding out on this football stuff. To the fans out there, casual fans, when you're watching on TV and you see a guy doing all these hand signals, and there's also a guy on the other side of the field, who's holding up an 11 or 12 or 23 or what, he's holding up the personnel groupings, because what the team has done during film session is when it's 12 personnel, 11 personnel, that this percentage of the time they run, and this guy's in the game, this percentage of the time they run this way. One funny thing watching the game last night, like Notre Dame is down on the goal line. They motioned the back away. There's 3 tight ends in the game, and the announcer said, well, I think everybody in America knows the QB is about to run this ball. Yeah, and so there's just certain situations that Shedeur was in last year. Now, here's the upside. You got Shedeur and Travis. You can know something, but stopping it is still something different.
Exactly. That's the margin of error I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You teed it up perfectly, Jake. And now you're going to get into a situation where formation-wise, you don't know. So now there's an upper hand in that not only do you have to stop it if you guess right, you don't even know what I'm about to do, because this ain't the offensive formations based on the 2 premier guys in college football. This is just like, oh, shit, man, it's a tight end in the game and a running back in the game. I don't know if this is a handoff, keep it, pass, what. And so you're gonna see so much more creativity on offense. And you're going to see way more than 9 catches at the end of the year by a tight end. I can assure you that.
Facts. I don't know how in the hell I never noticed that sign behind you.
There's no twerking.
Come on, no twerking.
No, if you sit here, it's like Coach Pride, but he'll text you, you twerking or working. If you sit here, this is the work zone, baby. There's no twerking right here.
No twerking allowed.
Now, you go around the corner, back there, you can twerk, but right here, no twerking.
Classic.
We working.
No twerk zone.
And the fact that they make signs like that is what got me.
I know. Yeah, where'd you get that from?
Dude, Amazon has everything. So I'm literally sitting in coach's office one day, and he hit me with the no twerking. Are you gonna work or twerk today? And I pulled up the phone, I typed in no twerking sign, and Amazon popped up, and they got some that are 20 by 23. I said, I can't get one that big.
Just need a subtle reminder.
Yeah, I just need a subtle reminder. We're gonna work today, not twerk.
Crazy.
And y'all saw at the presser when he'll tell Sam, myself, or Darius to post something to his Instagram or do a tweet for him. If he doesn't have like something posted in the morning, he'll text you, say, "Hey, you ghosting or posting?" Like it's always gonna rhyme,
One of one, rare.
But nothing will ever top working or twerking, though.
No,
I love that one.
It's genius.
Bro, I'm telling you, one of my favorite things from like the chat, the DNVR chat, is when RK isn't on the show, and the comments will be like, "RK somewhere twerking," and I'll just be dead.
One of the best bits to come out of CU football, I think, is working and twerking.
Oh my God, it is like I don't think how many times I hear it. It's like I'm 53 and I hear somebody fart, I laugh. I don't care how many times I hear him say working or twerking, I laugh. It's just it's the funniest shit ever, man.
Not be funny.
Oh boy! All right, let's take our next break. Then we'll.
Hey, I will say this before the break, because I want to forget it. Working or twerking is up there, but emergency pod is catching up. I just want to point that out.
It's quickly rising up the ranks.
You should do an emergency pod later with me, Unc.
We should definitely do it.
We should definitely.
Oh yeah. Set it up for tonight, Scotty, because I know when you're with him, you're gonna know when Jake has gone into
my God.
mode, and that's when we go live right then.
Oh boy, we're flying too close to the sun here. All right, shout out Elevations Credit Union with the sexiest credit card in the game, where you can directly contribute to Colorado football's success. Every swipe with the Elevations Go Buffs Visa Rewards card, they donate 2 cents to the CU student athletes through NIL. Again, you can directly contribute to Colorado student athletes by opening up a Go Buffs Visa Signature Rewards card with our friends over at Elevations Credit Union. You also get 3% cash back on CU tickets and merch at select CU merchants, 2% cash back on restaurants, gas, streaming, and phone plans, 1% cash back on daily spending. Elevations Credit Union, been doing it since 1952. They're Colorado through and through. Go check them out. Again, the Go Buffs Visa Signature Rewards Card, the only official credit card of CU Athletics, only at Elevations Credit Union. Visit buffscreditcard.com to apply and see full card benefits and details. Also, shout out to our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery, the homies. We went to the farmhouse on Tuesday. That place is awesome. If you're ever in Colorado and you have some time, you want to check out a local Colorado brewery, go check out our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery at the farmhouse. It's down there in Littleton. It's like a 15-20 minute drive from Denver. It's a straight shot south down I-25 basically. The food out there is awesome. You get to try, of course, all their great beers, but they even have, some special beers that they just make out there at the farmhouse where they brew everything. So go check them out. And you can find Breckenridge Brewery wherever you are. Come to the DNVR bar, but also just use the beer locator at www.breckbrew.com, and you can find all their great brews near you. Alrighty, boys.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
We got a new punter, Mate 2.0.
Yeah.
His name is Damon Greaves from Bustleton, Australia, mate.
Yeah, was part of a phone call with Mate 2.0, and you would have sworn you were talking to Mate, the original Mate. Like they sound exactly alike. It's going to sound stereotypical, but like they're the same person. And there's some working room on the nickname. There's second Mate is so easy, but you don't want to, make him like he's an underling or something. But Coach Prime did tell him that, Mate sits right next to me in the team meetings, and that'll be your seat, going forward. So just, get ready for a fun ride. Hell of a punter, man. We didn't get to see him in action.
That's crazy.
We didn't get to see him not one time, but when you look at the stats, what an addition to the team. And you can tell in the conversation that the personality is there too. So we're changing mates.
Yeah. I love how the positions of need are being addressed early and often. Like, obviously we knew special teams, in particular the kicking game this year, minus probably field goals and extra points was a bit of an issue in terms of kickoffs, in terms of, even punts at sometimes. But, you bring in a Buck Buchanan from Louisiana Tech, who absolutely has a cannon of a leg, hit 2 55-plus yard field goals this season at LA Tech. You bring in Mate 2.0 from Kansas, who has been, starting punter for the Jayhawks the last 2 years, has documented production and productivity. And also you bring in a guy from the high school ranks as well, who can do, a bit of both in terms of kicking and punting to really, kind of add to that room. This recruiting staff is getting it done, man, all levels, all phases of the game.
One of the things I like that I'm seeing internally is that when folks get added to a position room, the position room doesn't panic, like they're welcoming it. And you'll see like the Matas or the Gerlachs or whoever reaching out to the guys who have been signed to literally take your job. And it's like, come on, let's compete. Let's do it. Let's rock out. Because we know how important it is. If we didn't know before last year, we learned this season, kick the ball into the end zone out the back of it. And you mitigate a lot of damn problems. There were times, I think we were at Texas Tech, Lubbock, the season is running together in my mind, where we get a big stop to get back in the game and then kick it off. And hell, they run the ball 60 yards. When if we kicked it in the end zone, you wouldn't have that. Yeah. So I think that room has upgraded, and I'm looking forward to this spring competition to see who emerges come August ball. But these guys love competing, man. And hats off to them. Most people in the workforce of America, you ain't finna train your replacement. You don't want competition. You want this. This is my job. What the hell is he doing here? But in this program, they want to compete and want to be uplifted.
That's an excellent point. I got a question for y'all real quick, kind of on the kickoff part of things. So obviously, ideally, you want to kick that thing to the back of the end zone and not give the opponents an opportunity to return. But There are a lot of times, and it happened in Colorado kickoff unit this year a handful of times, where if you allow a return and you put pads on a returner and you get a big hit, like that can be a momentum kind of swinging play from your kickoff unit. Does that not outweigh the risk of a return?
So like with this specific team last year, I think the risk reward was skewed to kick it out the back of the end zone because we weren't as great as we needed to be on covering. Going into this spring, I think that'll be different. I think you're spot on. I think there are going to be some times where you want the guy, to pinpoint place it to that guy because we want him to run the ball.
Right.
And then there are going to be other situations. And that's what I think, Scotty, what our challenge was, is we couldn't consistently as far as when it mattered in a particular game, we would fall off one with the other. Gotcha. Like, this is the time we need to kick it out the back and we don't. This is the time we need to kick it to that guy and we don't. Like we got to pick a poison. And I think these upgrades are going to help us do that. But I think you're right. I would err on the volume of kicking it to like the 3. To make him where he's got to catch it and run it, and knocking the hell out of him at the 12 and force the fumble.
There were a handful of times whether it was Gant or our boy Ben Finiseth or Tajay McCoy a couple of times where that's a moment that gets the whole sideline juiced up. Now the defense is coming out on the field and they're turned up already because of that kickoff hit. And I just feel like sometimes it could be a bit of a benefit when you cover it the right way and you kick it out there, obviously.
Yeah, McCoy's going to be so special next year, man. We got a glimpse of it this year, but you giving that guy a true season with being out there as the guy. Yeah. Watch out.
I mean, my answer is the same as Unc. It's 50-50 kind of. It's dependent on situation. I mean, SMU lost the ACC title game because they weren't able to kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. Clemson had a big return to like the 35, 40-yard line. Boom, one completion. They're across midfield. They're in field goal range. They kick the ball. The next play, lose the game. So it's dependent. I mean, you do want to kind of hit that coffin corner sometimes and get a short return. So we'll see. But the fact that now that you have a Buck Buchanan to come in here and really kind of control all of that, it could change the game for Colorado. I mean, literally. I mean, the field position game is it's kind of slept on at times. I don't think people understand the importance of that and just how much that does affect the game, drive to drive basis when you're starting on your opponent's 38 as opposed to 32. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jake and Scotty, I got to tell you guys this Madden story from 30 years ago.
They made Madden back then?
This is like the graphics weren't worth a damn compared to now. But this is like 93, 94-ish. And I'm playing a guy. I got the 49ers, and I'm playing a guy. 20 seconds left in the game. He scores. He goes up 6. And he's, no, it's reverse. I'm up, and I'm about to kick it to him, and he's like been kicking my ass all day, right? I was like, damn, I know he's going to score. I ain't been to stop him all day. So I called it's not a timeout, but it was in between plays where you could make roster adjustments. I brought Ronnie Lott into the special teams, and I literally said to him, I said, my only chance here is to hit you with Ronnie Lott, cause a fumble, and return the ball. We run down the field. I'm hitting the X to switch it to Ronnie Lott, get Lott, hit him, and you hear fumble, and then I pick the ball up. This dude has never played Madden again. I still like he's
scarred him.
Life. He's like, man, he threw the controller, and I'm like, bullshit. Ain't nobody that good in real life. Ain't no way you can just do that. I'm never playing.
That's definitely something that make me just quit and retire from the game. I ain't gonna lie.
But it's the same scenario that you're pointing out.
Yeah,
like kick the ball, put your hard hitters in, just see what happens. I think Taj McCoy can force a fumble.
Me too. I don't know. He almost did a couple of times. I don't know how that ball didn't come loose. A couple of them hits.
All right, let's get back to the CFP. Real quick on this, we got to take one more break and then we'll get to questions. But Curt Cignetti yesterday. Look, man, I enjoy confident head coaches. I enjoy, kind of talking that talk, especially when you walk that walk, which they did a lot this season. They beat the hell out of some teams. They had a great year. He had a kind of an iconic quote to start the year, Google me, I win. Awesome. Yesterday, though, He goes on College game day before the game. And I don't know the complete context, but you'll see it out there. The quote is, we don't just beat top 25 teams. We beat the shit out of them. Literally, that is what he said. And they lost. They lost by 10 points. The game was actually worse.
It wasn't 10 points.
It wasn't a 10-point game.
Yeah.
But if Coach Prime Sanders said that, can you imagine the outrage and Colorado basically be kicked out of college football? It's just, I don't know, man. It's just hilarious that this man literally does not curse. He's very confident in how he does things. And straight up, he has not lied the last 2 years about Colorado football. You better get me now. He was straight up about that, and it's very, very accurate the way it seems right now. There's a race aspect, I think, to this too when it comes to Coach Prime and all that. But I don't know, man. It rubs me the wrong way to see, when Coach Prime does anything, and it's always clown show, dunk on Coach Prime and all this stuff. But Curt Cignetti just gets a free pass after getting embarrassed for saying that before a college football playoff game.
I'm with you, Jake. There is just a different standard, a different tool of measurement when it comes to Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. You see other coaches can say things and navigate in certain ways that we know for a fact if he did, the walls would come tumbling down. And I appreciate you, as a white guy who can sit there and acknowledge that there's a racial aspect to that. It certainly is. And that permeates outside of football. It's in other areas of life where there are different rules for different people. But Coach Prime, who confidently, not like brash or rudely said, "Get me now." In other words, I know what I got coming, and the world got flipped upside down. This guy cusses. Exactly. And then goes on to get the shit beat out of him. Because if you watch that game, it wasn't 27-17. That was the final score. It was like 27-3.
Yes.
And whenever in it couldn't get anything going. Man, if Coach Prime would talk like that pregame and get it handed to him like that, like it would be on every talk show for the next 21 days.
Hey, them double standards of MFer, man. Y'all know how I go, man. And I thought it was funny too. The guest picker yesterday for game day, Shane Gillis, the comedian, said it perfectly right after Cignetti left the set. He was like, "That man really just left his team in the locker room to go get up here on the camera and say that foolishness and then go back out there on the field and get mollywopped in the first 12-team college football playoff game on national television. Like, you can't draw it up worse than that." And again, I don't even want to imagine what the narratives would be, the tweets that I would have had to have read if that was Deion Sanders in that situation. But it would have never been, because Coach Prime would never say nothing.
Never.
Nothing like that, but yet he still talked about and thought about it, somebody who would say something like that. And again, it just comes back to double standards and obviously the racial component that's at play here in terms of college football. And it is what it is. But it's just I just found it truly comical, because every once in a while, like, you got to be humble when you talk like that. And again, I laughed at the "Google me, I'll win" quote early in the season. You kind of laughed that off. Like, that's like, haha, whatever. But again, that's just something you just wait till after the game to talk your mess, right? Don't do it an hour or two before, because especially today, the receipts are going to be on fire.
Receipt Street as well.
When are people going to learn from Receipt Street? There's a reason we do that after the game as opposed to before.
And let me say this about Coach Cignetti and what he said as it relates to Coach Prime. Coach Prime has locker room moments. Rest assured, as this is the most viewed college program in the history of college football, but you still don't see everything that goes on. There are times where he'll say, "Cut the cameras." There are times he say, "Hey, y'all got me on this now. I'm about to say something, but make sure y'all clip this out." And so what Indiana's coach said on that platform was something you say in the locker room to your players to fire them up. It's not something you say to the world. When you say it to the world, there's going to be a receipt book kept on it. And then when you go out there and overwhelmingly underperform, it's like, dude, you put that out there in the universe, man. Karma. And so you just got to be careful how you carry yourself, particularly pregame and leading up to games, because you can write a check that your ass can't cash, man.
And what he said just wasn't true either.
No,
that's the other thing. Damn, the nigga should have known the top 25 teams this year since he's been at Indiana. And that's what makes me think about, like, I wonder if he's still kind of in that James Madison mindset where it's like, when you at JMU, you can kind of say whatever you want as a head coach. Even if it does backfire on you, it's not going to be blown up to the level
that's a great point.
That's nice comment was. But when you at Indiana, when you in the college football playoff, and you talking about a program like Notre Dame, for example, about to play a program like Notre Dame, you got to tread lightly. And I think this was a lesson learned for Coach Cignetti last night.
Absolutely, man. That's a great point. And it's also a way to underscore something that you have in Coach Prime. The Coach Primes you have in Colorado is Coach Prime you have at Jackson State. The Coach Prime that you see tweeting, his faith in the morning is the Coach Prime that's what he's talking about. You meet him like you don't get a different Deion Sanders based on environment or situation. So he doesn't have to code switch or navigate his tongue or something. There are times y'all seen in the press conferences where he'll catch himself and pause and say, "Thank you, Jesus," because he's about to say something. Oh man, those moments, because you sit there wondering, like, "Damn, what was he about to say?"
I know. Yes.
Like, say it, please say it. But he's consistent in who he is, and I think you're James Madison head coach versus Indiana head coach in that moment more than James Madison came out. I hadn't thought about that, Scotty. That's a great point.
All right, let's take our final break. We'll get to Super Chats questions. Shout out to the homies over at Circle K. They powered the Great American Stampede. I missed it already. Maybe we'll do it again. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But shout out Circle K. Join the Inner Circle. All kinds of deals with that. You get 25 cents off a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You get every 5th item free on rollers, drinks, all kinds of good stuff. All you need is your email and your phone number. Download the app. Boom, you're signed up. You're in the Inner Circle. Download the app and sign up for it. New offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly. Shout out to Circle K, the homies. And then shout out to Raising Cane's. The best chicken finger stop out there, man. We went and saw the historic Raising Cane's at Times Square. And the most lit Raising Cane's of all time it is, too.
Had a DJ up in there.
Yeah, I didn't know they were like that out there at Times Square, but Raising Cane's, man, they always deliver those delicious chicken fingers, those crinkle cut fries, that sauce. You know what it is. It's Raising Cane's. For cooked to order, hand battered chicken fingers raced into Raising Cane's. And turbocharge your chicken fingers and get them even faster by ordering online at raisingcanes.com or through their mobile app. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Bro, I always wanted to ask, when you read that Circle K ad, rollers like the things that be on like the heaters, like the little rotisserie joint?
Yes.
Okay, bad. I always wondered that.
Man, yeah, I just got hungry, man. You went from Circle K, and damn, we did some eating at Circle K. Like y'all got to understand, we would be in there with like we need a shopping cart, man. Like we're in a convenience store, and we got stuff falling out our arms, and then you went right to Cane's. Like, dude, breakfast time, man.
All right, Alyssa, what do we got for questions / super chats?
I know as they start to roll in, we got to acknowledge, man, again, if y'all are just joining in or you watching this on the replay, today is literally Jake's birthday. Like right now is Jake's birthday. So we got to get it up for Jake. Wherever you are around the world, get it up for Jake. Put one up and down for Jake today.
Thank y'all. Smuggles asked, what'd you learn about yourself over the past year, Jake? What did I learn about myself is that your boy's still got some way to go. There's you never truly arrive, I think, in anything you do. And I think maintaining that perspective and learning you can always be better, better son, better friend, better employee. I mean, whatever it is, you can just always be better. So that's going to be the focus of 2025.
That's elite, bro. I love that.
Thank you. That is elite. I just hope we don't lose Hulk out Jake. And as you find your better path, I still want you to spaz out sometimes.
We'll see. Debbie says, Jake Schwanitz, did you get shorted on presents as a child because your birthday fell near Hanukkah / Christmas? Hashtag Buffs Nation. Yes. Shout out to the parents. They always did a great job at, making sure my birthday was a birthday. But there were sometimes some, family friends, aunts, uncles. Here's your birthday / Christmas present.
I always thought about that as a kid.
Thanks.
I was lucky at my birthday wasn't around Christmas for that very reason. I always feared that. But yeah, lucky I had the summer B-Day. Didn't have to worry about that. But nonetheless, that's dope.
Yeah, lucky.
Jakey Poo with the birthday. Hulk out, Jake. I love that. Just my opinion. Hulk TF out.
Who are the top portal guys see you still wanting? I mean, KC Concepcion is up there. They had a few visitors this weekend. Who am I missing, Scotty?
They're still having that the Tulsa transfer receiver who committed to Utah.
Yes.
He's still visiting Colorado. So yeah, I mean receiver, DB.
Got a receiver coming in this weekend. And here's the other thing. Two things I want to point out about this portal. I know everybody out there is football knowledgeable, so this is just to underscore it. One, there's going to be more and more of this as these ball games end. We got to keep in mind you got bowl games, you got CFP. There are people you watched on TV last night that are hitting the portal. So this thing ain't done as far as people getting in. And then two, whereas I think, Coach Prime has the charisma, the Riz as it's called now, to make sure he maintains a high position of what he gets committed to him. None of this stuff counts until you go to class or go to practice.
True.
And one thing's about Colorado being so hot is when you go on a date with Colorado, now everybody else wants to date you too. Mm-hmm. And so bigger bags are going to be offered to these guys just because they verbally or did an Instagram post saying they're coming to us. And in that transactional process, you could lose one or two people. So I'm saying all that to preface, the sky ain't falling if we get a couple weeks from now somebody who said they come in here in December is not going somewhere else, because the transactional nature of this, the calendar of this, until you go to practice or class, you got the right to change your mind.
Hell of a point, on because I remember, I know Buff fans will forever remember DJ Lundy. Last transfer portal season committed and flipped, back to Florida State, and the Buffs defense was just fine without him.
You're gonna be all right. You save scholarships.
Yeah.
Just like the NFL team save salary cap, you save scholarships. Facts. You over recruit in certain areas because you have to make up for losing a guy in the portal. You got to make up for injuries. You want to have depth. So one or two guys changing their mind in the next 21 days is not going to disrupt or wipe the slate clean of this portal class, if you will.
And quickly on DJ Lundy, not to rag on him, but man, what's crazy how one decision can alter your future, man. What was locked in with Colorado, and then you end up at Florida State. I mean, that had to have been yikes.
Sliding glass doors, brother.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. We've all been there, man. You got one chick and then said, "Damn, I should have went with a friend." Like that.
Facts.
Yep. JJ asked any update on tailgate for the bowl game. Not right now. We were hoping to have one this week, but hopefully early next week we will have an update on tailgate for you guys, at least a meetup or something. But we'll figure it out. We're in the process of doing that right now. So, Heaven's Demon wants to know, hey, Unc, has Quency Wiggins improved from the start of the season?
Absolutely. And again, he's one of those metric guys too. When you look at his build, when you look at the frame, the measurements on paper, once he cleans up some technique stuff, and let me say this before somebody thinks that's a negative, just like Jake talked about his birthday and next year life, we all got technique stuff to clean up. And most of us do not have a Warren Sapp, a D. Lewis, and a Dancy helping us clean it up. When that guy gets it down, he is going to be a beast on this team. Because physically, no one can stop him. He just has to clean up some of the nuances where the shortest distance sometimes is, a straight line. It's really all the time. And so you don't want to go around this way when you can just go this way, so to speak. But he is being coached up, man. hell of an athlete. Just totally looking forward to the impact you'll see. And he's one of the guys I actually think you're going to see some action in the bowl game. I think you're going to see a glimpse of the future, in the bowl game without it getting to that BTA where we're just putting in guys. I think he'll be in the mix early.
And I feel like people forget he came to Colorado with 3 years of eligibility left. Like, he's still a young guy who has plenty to learn and plenty to build upon. And I feel like another year, Sapp and D-Lu gonna get him right. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Well said, Scotty. That's exactly what it's been. He was not, underutilized because of some deficiencies on his end. It was an experience and seniority thing. You have some guys like a Chidozie coming in and Coates coming in. It's like when you start to fill out the defense and the linebackers behind them, it's like, okay, you can put in a guy we're developing right now, or you can put in guys that have developed right now and let him learn from them. So this will be his year.
Love that. Anything else, Alyssa? That it? All right.
I got something, Jake, before you go. Not only do I value and appreciate our friendship, it has been a pleasure getting to know you. Can't do nothing but wish you a happy birthday and many more. There's no way I'm going to sit here and challenge the audience to get one up and down for your birthday, but I'm not willing to do it. So for my man, Jake, right here.
Oh, wow. What a legend, bro. Thank you.
Get some straight laws.
Put some
crazy. Unreal.
Happy birthday, Jake. That shot was for you.
You're a legend, brother. Thank you. Thank y'all. I mean, to you two, to RK, to Lissy Poo, to the chat, man. The love has been real today. So thank y'all. To better and bigger things in the next year, which I truly believe are on the horizon for all of us. So I'm excited, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Happy birthday, bro. Love you, bro, man. Have a great day, bro. Let's do it, bro. Let's make 2025, bro, that year.
Yes, sir. Let's get after it.
Let's make 2025 laugh at 2024. Like, you thought that was success. Thanks. Watch this.
Hell yeah.
Straight up. All right. That's it. We'll be back on Monday. At least Scotty and I will be, or we'll figure. It's a weird week. We got Christmas and bowl game travel and just all kinds of stuff. There will be 5 shows next week. I can tell you that. But stay tuned. And we will see you very soon. We'll see you in San Antonio, my man.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs, baby.
We all silly like the mayor.